Hi everyone, welcome back to Side 9. I'm Fulminatus.
And I'm Riala.
With the 5th starter deck fully revealed, we are returning to our much beloved starter deck breakdown series, this time for my favorite Gundam franchise. This is starter deck 5, Iron Bloom, featuring cards from Iron Blooded Orphans.
Longtime Side 9 viewers may be aware of our invested interest in this topic. Our first ever video was speculating on the design space of purple in Gundam, and here we have it, our first real taste of what purple does.
But before we get into it, you know about how Iron Blooded Orphans is about making sacrifices for power? Pretty cool. But did you know that you could give us power, but not sacrifice anything by giving us a like and subscribe? And once you're done, let us know your favorite purple card, even including some of the ones spoiled thus far for Set 2.
I already got my pick. Rizel is really good, and we know it all too well. But now we have Perpzel. Fulm, next time we have to write a joke in the script, I'm outsourcing that job to you.
Listen, I'm the analysis guy. One of us has to be the funny guy. Oh boy, here we go. Probably my most anticipated Gundam card reveal yet. Gundam Barbatos 4th Form. It's a level 6 4-cost unit with 4 AP and 5 HP. On deploy, you choose one of your other units, deal 1 damage to it, and it gets +1 AP during this turn. It also says, while 4th Form itself is damaged, it gains the keyword Suppression, which means when attacking shields, but not bases, it destroys 2 shields per swing. This self-damage strategy is a core part of what Tekken's Purple is going for. By damaging your own units, you get access to bonus effects.
Of course, we should go over this card's link, Mikazuki August. On the surface, a very standard rate. A level 4, 1-cost pilot that gives the unit is paired to +2/+1 in stats. But the real sacrifice for power comes in with the pilot ability. On pair, choose one of your units and one enemy unit. Deal 1 damage to both of them. So let's take a look at this full play pattern. For a total cost of 5, at level 6, we are getting a unit that has 6 AP, 5 HP after getting pinged, suppression, and the ability to ping an opponent's units for 1, to give one of my other units AP +1.
Of course, if we're talking about Mikazuki and Barbatos 4th Form, we should probably take a moment to talk about Barbatos 2nd Form. 2-4 on a level 4 2-cost isn't great, but it also gets +2 AP when damaged, which means it's often effectively a 4-3, and that's Rizel stats, and Rizel is a good card.
Wait, there's 2 Perpzels?
This means with a Mikazuki link, we have a 6-4 missile, or if we develop one before Barbatos 4th Form, we can have a 5 AP beater to clear the base so 4th can connect with a suppression swing.
So that's Mr. Protagonist and the flagship out of the way. Let's talk about Gundam Gusion Rebake and Akihiro Altland. Not gonna lie, this is mainly just an excuse to talk about Akihiro. Gundam Gusion Rebake is a level 4, 3-cost with 3 AP and 4 HP. When it gets destroyed, you get to choose one enemy unit with 4 or less AP and rest it. This by itself isn't too shabby. Having a threat that sticks around on the board and always threatens a bonus effect if it were to get destroyed is a decent boon. But here's the real sauce. We've touched on pilots being a value negative in the past since you're committing the card from hand on one of your units. That's why pilots like Benager Links have been very powerful in the Set 1 meta. It turns out getting a link and +2/+2 in stats for a grand total of 1 cost and 0 impact to hand is quite good. Oops, Bandai did it again. Akihiro Altland is a level 3 1-cost pilot, which gives you +1/+1 in stats. And if linked during your turn, when this unit destroys an enemy unit with battle damage, choose one Tekken unit that is level 2 or lower from your trash, and add it to hand. This unit plus pilot combo seems very plain overall, but you're getting a good stat stick, recursion, and a nice rest effect the opponents wants the value to stop. Overall, pretty strong for a starter deck format.
Now that we talked about the protagonist half of the deck, it's time for the antagonist half. And given that it's 4 cards, it makes sense to start with the best of them. McGillis' Schwalbe Grace is a mouthful and an AP heavy blocker at level 4, 3-cost with a 4-2 stat line. It also has the effect that when paired, choose one enemy unit that's level 3 or lower and it gets AP -2 during this turn. This allows MSG to take a high value trade when it first hits the board when played on curve, and sets up trades with stronger units as its high AP lets it punch above its weight. It also functions later in the game as a blocker due to that AP value, although it's vulnerable due to its smaller HP value, to ping damage not being the tossed order, and it's potentially caught by Blue's HP-based resting effects. Of course, It's said in the name that Schwalbe Graze is piloted by McGillis Farid, a level 4 1-cost pilot giving +2/+1 with the effect that when paired, if you have 2 other Galahorn or Tekkadan units in play, choose one enemy with 3 or less HP, rest it. While not the strongest pilot, especially when compared to Amuro, who can rest bigger targets with less conditions, McGillis does bring one interesting aspect to the table. He allows for resting units without stepping out of White's card pool, meaning that we get Amuro's effect without being stuck to playing blue-white. In this specific deck though, he enables MSG to link, gives -2 AP to its most valuable trade, then it can rest that target to take it for little to no cost, valuable for contesting early boards and setting up later suppression plays.
Alright, we've gone over the cards we wanted to give a dedicated section to in this video, but let's go over a little highlight reel for the remainder of the cards in the deck.
Demi Garrison, the sequel.
Strike Blocker.
Stop hitting yourself.
Plus AP Combat Trick.
Minus AP Combat Trick.
Situationally better Vesalius.
True Removal Spell.
Perpzell.
Amethyst.
It's just so bad. It's such a bad bit, and we've used it 3 times this video. Ever since we've seen this massive play rate of a Show of Resolve in the first booster meta, the question on a lot of people's minds is card advantage, and if we'll see any other color get good on-rate card draw. While purple isn't quite there, Gundam Barbatos First Form is a good start, being a level 3 2-cost unit with 3 AP and 2 HP. On attack, if this unit is damaged, you get to draw 1. This card is very vulnerable, as pinging it for 1 puts it at a measly 1 remaining HP without a pilot. Although it may not be difficult to create games where you get value out of this card, and a card to replace it. However, anytime you get more than 1 card off this, it's performing better than a Show of Resolve would, and is likely propelling you towards victory.
Of course, we've been talking about cards that get bonus effects when they get damaged, but how are we going to be damaging them in the first place? Ryusei Go is a level 3, 2-cost with 2 AP and 2 HP. On deploy, you choose one of your units, deal 1 damage to it, then draw 1 and discard 1. That's a lot of 1s. The obvious combo here is the previously talked about Barbatos First Form. If you go second, you can play Barbatos on turn 2, then follow it up with Ryusei Go to ping the first form, draw 1, pitch 1, then swing the Barbatos to cash itself in for another card. It also means that you're getting tangible value from enabling any of your wind damaged effects, getting a card deeper in the deck with a side benefit.
As we've seen from the Set 1 metagame, aggro is both incredibly prevalent and powerful. Because of that, many players have turned to cheap early blockers like Gundam Lifrith and Zawart. Gundam Gusion Rebake shows us the reward of how much more a card can really do in comparison to those early game blockers mentioned if we beef it up with more levels and costs. It is a level 5 4-cost unit with 3 AP and 5 HP, and it has blocker, which will be great at warding off all the gems and results of the world. But as a nice little bonus, it is able to give you exactly what Tekkadan Purple is going for. On deploy, choose one of your units and one opposing unit, and deal 1 damage to each of them. In the best case scenario, this fends off the opponent's on-rate vanillas, alongside dealing the decisive last ping damage on one of their other units.
It feels pretty satisfying seeing what Purple actually does after our first video on this channel, fittingly titled Gundam Card Game, What Will Purple Do? Also, being moderately vindicated in our predictions feels pretty nice. Check that video out in the cards if you're interested in watching all our speculative copium with the added humor of hindsight.
For sure, that video was definitely our humble beginnings, and I'm still willing to put the good old side 9 seal of recommendation if you wanted to see where the channel started. I think I speak for both of us when I say we were happy with where Purple ended up in the Gundam card game. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you
next mission.